much. I'm gonna react to Gunna. He recently got released from prison. So in 1090 Jake, aka end of sentence, he's gonna do a video on it. He's gonna give his thoughts on it. This is about Gunna.
Man, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EOS. It's 1090 Jake, man. I'm rocking with y'all. Y'all rocking with me. And for this video, we're going to be speaking on the YSL case. Gunna being released from jail on special conditions, including testifying if asked to. December 14th, 2022. Major news broke in the YSL RICO case as none other than Atlanta rapper Sergio Kitchens, aka
And Gunna had that one song like Pushin' P and Till I Be on that and that other song, that Bang song and shit, bro.
Gunna was released from custody. After repeatedly being denied bond and expected to remain in jail until trial in 2023, Gunna has officially pled guilty to one count of violating Georgia's RICO Act. The charge itself carries up to 20 years in Georgia's state prison system, but Gunna has seemingly done the impossible. As he walked out of jail greeted by family and friends, court documents would emerge online detailing Gunna's punishment in Atlanta's most infamous rap indictment. A negotiated Alford plea would mean under Georgia law, Gunna was pleading guilty while maintaining his innocence. In other words, Gunna hasn't admitted to anything, but according to the plea, finds it in his best interest to accept a guilty finding. As a result, Gunna was sentenced to 5 years, with the 1 year he spent in jail counting his time served. The remaining 4 years, which would normally be served in prison, has surprisingly been suspended with special conditions. Gunna has agreed that if he is called on by any party within the case, he will testify truthfully and reserve his right to assert his Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination. This means Gunna will have to testify if asked to, but he may plead the Fifth to avoid incriminating himself. Gunna also agrees to perform 500 hours of community service with the completion of at least 350 hours. A substantial portion will require Gunna speaks to young men and women about the hazards and immorality of gangs and gang violence and the
Damn, Gunna gonna have to force to talk to other people that's doing it about gangs and shit like that, gangs and violence and all that.
Hey, that it causes in the community. The final special conditions: a Gunna shall not possess guns or commit any criminal acts. It has been agreed by the courts upon completion of his community service, the remainder of Gunna's 4-year sentence will be terminated by the courts, meaning once Gunna's done preaching to the youth, he's free to go. But if he doesn't abide by these...
Oh, he had to talk to the youth, younger kids and shit. People that's younger than him about this stuff.
Special conditions, including testifying if asked to, Gunna will be sent to prison to serve the remainder of his sentence. Now, these conditions resemble T.I.'s infamous federal case in which he was found in possession of weapons and silencers, but barely received any prison time, leading to speculation of him snitching. T.I. promoting Crime Stoppers was part of his community service and only worsened the rumors.
Question, do y'all think T.I.'s a snitch? Yes or no? Let me know down in the comment section if y'all think he's a snitch.
Recently, T.I. came out admitting to placing blame on his dead cousin to beat a separate weapons case before his federal case. It just so happens Gunna's lawyer, Steve Sato, is the same lawyer who represented T.I. in his federal case. With immediate rumors of snitching following Gunna's release, Gunna issued a statement to the press. When I became affiliated with YSL in 2016, I did not consider it a gang. More like a group of people from Metro Atlanta who had common interests and artistic aspirations. My focus of YSL was entertainment, rap artists who wrote and performed music that exaggerated and glorified urban life in the black community. While I have agreed to always be truthful, I want to make it perfectly clear that I have not made any statements, have not been interviewed, have not cooperated, have not agreed to testify or be a witness for or against any party in the case, and have absolutely no intention of being involved in the trial process in any way. I have chosen to end my own RICO case with an Alford plea and end my personal ordeal by publicly acknowledging my association with YSL. An Alford plea in my case is the entry of a guilty plea to the one charge against me, which is in my best interest, while at the same time maintaining my innocence towards the same charge. I love and cherish my association with YSL Music and always will. I look at this as an opportunity to give back to my community and educate young men and women that gangs and violence only leads to destruction. Now, the only contradiction to Gunna's press statement is him not agreeing to testify. It clearly states in Gunna's special conditions for release that if he is called by any party in this case,
he got options, bro. Like, if y'all see that this A, you gotta choose either A or B, bro.
he will testify truthfully. While that doesn't mean he will be called, it leaves the possibility. But at the same time, that doesn't mean Gunna is a snitch or will have to snitch. If Gunna is called to testify and refuses, he faces the remainder of his 4-year sentence in prison, which means Gunna will have to do time, but he'll do it with dignity, knowing nothing he did affected anyone else. Otherwise, it seems the only person he'd be called to testify on is Young Thug himself. Aside from being mentioned in music videos, Gunna's only involvement within the YSL indictment stems from 2 incidents. In 2017, Gunna and Thug were found in possession of a stolen gun and drugs after a traffic stop. And in 2018, they received a speeding ticket, while the car behind them had 4 individuals inside armed with multiple weapons, including an AK-47. A video sent to me by Seti Nash would show a courtroom as someone in the stands recorded Gunna answering the prosecutor's questions and admitting to entirely too much. Not only did Gunna confirm YSL is a gang, he confirmed he has personal...
Damn. Gunna Bates saying, Gunna said it himself, YSL is a gang. It's not a label group, it's a gang.
knowledge of members of YSL having committed crimes in furtherance of the gang, which in itself is grounds for a RICO indictment.
Please state after each statement whether or not you agree or acknowledge that statements are true, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I became affiliated with YSL around 2016. Is that true as it pertains to you, Mr. Kitchens?
Yes, ma'am.
YSL is a music label and a gang, and you have personal knowledge that members or associates of YSL have committed crimes in furtherance of the gang.
Yes, ma'am.
Gunna admitted when drugs and a gun were found after him and Young Thug were pulled over that the items didn't belong to him, leaving only Young Thug as the person they belonged to. Lastly, Gunna admitted to making a statement where he regrets making music that indirectly furthered the YSL gang and that YSL must end.
You were present when law enforcement officers stopped the vehicle in which you were present along with Jeffrey Williams, wherein hydrocodone, methamphetamines, and a firearm were recovered. These items did not belong to you.
Yes, ma'am.
And do you acknowledge the following statement? I recognize, accept, and deeply regret that my talent and music indirectly furthered YSL the gang to the detriment of my community. YSL as a gang must end. Is that your statement or acknowledgement?
Yes.
So we now know that if Gunna is called to testify, it would not only be against Young Thug, but against the other members he admitted to knowing committed crimes. While he does reserve the right to invoke his Fifth Amendment, his Fifth Amendment is meant to protect him from self-incrimination and him only. While many say he will use this to avoid snitching, one can also wonder why he didn't use it to avoid answering those same questions. At this time, Gunna is free and has yet to speak on the video.
Yep, Gunna is free now. And those y'all that are Gunna fans, like, I mean,
that's emerged. Now, after seeing that video of him inside a court, I don't know if there's too much else to say. You admitted YSL is a gang, which is going to negatively impact everybody. You admitted you have knowledge of other YSL members committing crimes, which is insane. There's no politics that's going to stand behind somebody and say, yeah, I have knowledge that members of that gang committed crimes. And then not only that, you admitted that when you and Young Thug were pulled over and drugs and a gun were found inside of the car, it wasn't yours. If you get pulled over with somebody, they find something that's not supposed to be in there and they say, whose is this? Nobody's supposed to say anything. Because if you say, oh, that's not mine, now they're looking at the other person. And guess who the other person is? Young Thug. That's who they want it to be. They want it to be his. So they have more ammunition to put away the biggest member of YSL. So for him to admit that is crazy, and it changed my whole perspective on why he got released. Because initially, I thought it was a chess move. I assumed that his lawyer, Gunna's lawyer, told Gunna, look, we're gonna do this here. You're gonna say that you'll be willing to testify if you're called in to testify. You're gonna be given community service, and what's gonna happen is, when trial comes in a year, if they call you to come in and testify, you say, fuck you, I'm not testifying. And guess what? The remainder of your sentence, which is, he was given 5 years, 1 year was taken off because he already served it in jail. He only has 4. If another year comes before trial, he only has 3 left. He would only have to serve 3 years inside of prison. Didn't snitch on nobody, didn't impact anybody's case in a negative way, does his 3 years, comes out a real one, and gets back to the music. But now that I saw what he admitted to in the courtroom, it's like, I don't even know how anybody could still stand behind that. They say he was alleged to have an affiliation to the Crips. I guarantee you that won't stand anymore. How the fuck is any Crip gonna get behind you and be like, yeah, that's the low, when you just said, yeah, I got knowledge of them gang members committing crimes and further into the gang? What? That's crazy. So even if he hasn't full-blown told or testified, just that video alone, in my opinion, is saying entirely too much. And me thinking that the only thing he could tell on was of him and Young Thug, since that's all he was brought up in within the indictment, but he's saying he knows things about other gang members committing crimes, that's exactly what they're gonna want to bring him in to testify for. But we'll just have to wait and see how this plays out. It's 1090 Jake.
Yeah, so, let me know what y'all think about this whole situation, bro. Like, Gunna's out, Young Thug is in, still in. So yeah, bro, let me know what y'all think about this shit, bro. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Y'all know the vibes. Wherever you're checking out, you are.